10. Cyborg bug. Researchers at the University of California, Berkeley have built up a remote flying bug cyborg. By appending a radio collector to an enormous African creepy crawly and associating cathodes to its sensory system and flight muscles, the analysts had the option control the trip of the insect remotely. A straightforward electric heartbeat to the cerebrum signals flight, another is utilized to flag drop. Left and right turns are accomplished by animating the muscle of the contrary wing from the course of the turn. 9. Rabies. Rabies is a viral ailment that causes irritation of the mind in warm-blooded creatures. The infection is normally spread from a nibble or scratch. From the purpose of passage, the infection goes to the mind and causes expanding, which whenever left untreated could prompt demise. A tainted creature may display uniquely forceful conduct, getting vicious and assaulting without cause, expanding the opportunity of a chomp and the spread of the infection. 8. Plasmodium. Plasmodium is the class of the life forms that cause jungle fever. Typically mosquitoes live on nectar, yet when a female is prepared to lay her eggs she requires a couple of suppers of blood for extra vitality. Mosquitoes that become contaminated by Plasmodium change their taking care of propensities. In the beginning times the mosquito takes care of less regularly. This allows Plasmodium to develop in the mosquito's spit. When a noteworthy number have developed, the mosquito goes on a taking care of furor. Rather than eating a couple of dinners, a tainted mosquito will eat again and again and for longer periods, glutting itself on blood, consequently expanding the opportunity of transmission. 7. Pomphorhynchus laevis. 070208 worm parasite. 02p. Laevis is a parasite that utilizations have control to encourage its transmission from middle of the road to essential host. The transitional host is the freshwater amphipods of the class Gammarus, and essential host is new water fish, for example, roost. Much like Toxoplasma gondii does with mice, P. laevis controls its host to not fear the fragrance of predators. Sometimes the casualty really searches out the smell. The contaminated will likewise invest more energy out in the open, expanding its odds of being originated before. Just as being pulled into the smell of the predator, a tainted life form may likewise give indications of shading changes that make them simpler to spot by predators. 6. Toxoplasma gondii. T. gondii showed up on the main rundown for its capacity to modify the conduct of rodents and make them pulled into the aroma of felines. What didn't show up in that section was the way that people may get contaminated too. Contaminated ladies appear to turn out to be increasingly savvy, active, scrupulous, explicitly unbridled, and kind. Men then again have inverse responses, turning out to be against social, dubious, desirous, and dour. Both genders will in general be increasingly inclined to sentiments of blame, diminished oddity chasing, and more slow response time. T. gondii has likewise been connected to rates of schizophrenia and other emotional well-being issues. Hostile to maniacal medications generally utilized for individuals with schizophrenia have been appeared to invert the conduct changes in tainted rodents, restoring their dread of cats. 5. Malo franciscanus. 120,906 beetle. When the rankle scarab species M. franciscanus is still in its larval stage, it will get together with other hatchlings and structure up into a major cluster that looks fundamentally the same as a female honeybee. This wriggling cluster of hatchlings produce a substance that mirrors the sex pheromone of female honeybees of the species Habropoda pallida. At the point when a male honeybee gets a sniff of the compound, it comes in to mate with the bunch and the hatchlings hitch a ride. The hatchlings are then moved to a female honeybee during mating. After effectively mating, the female honeybee tunnels into the ground and lays an egg and the tag along creepy crawly. The hatchling at that point eats the dust the honeybee accommodated its young and afterward parasitizes the honeybee hatchling. 4. Acacia trees. 64R2DOOZ. The connection between the acacia tree and the ants that live on it has for some time been thought of as an advantageous one. The trees give nectar to the ants to benefit from, and the ants shield the tree from different plants and creatures that would conceivably harm it. New research is demonstrating that the relationship is more uneven than initially suspected. Things being what they are, the acacia tree can deliver synthetic substances that really drive the ants into a cautious craze. It additionally turns out that the tree can likewise deliver synthetic compounds to drive the ants away totally, similar to when the time has come to create more dust. The compound is believed to be in the dust itself. So after it has all been stolen away by honeybees and flying creatures, the ants return. Point 3. Phangarus alcon. Alcon blue butterfly. The alcon blue butterfly is a brood parasite. Much like the cuckoo-winged creature utilizes different feathered creatures to raise its young, the alcon blue uses ants. The caterpillars emit a substance mixed drink which imitates those of nearby subterranean insect hatchlings. In the event that an insect happens to discover a caterpillar, it will get it and convey it back to the home and care for it as though it were one of its own. The ants feed, clean and care for the caterpillar even to the point of overlooking their own brood. The caterpillars may even eat the insect hatchlings. The caterpillar can spend as much as 2 years mooching off the ants before at long last framing a chrysalis and inevitably turning into a full-developed grown-up butterfly, but as though raising the butterfly's youthful wasn't terrible enough. 2. Ichneumon humerus. WPs 3, H1 Ichneumon humerus is a wasp that parasitizes the alcon blue butterfly. At the point when I. humerus recognizes an alcon caterpillar inside the ant's home, it, similar to the caterpillar, discharges its own compound mixed drink. The ants are repulsed from the wasp and crashed into a furor in any event, venturing to such an extreme as to assault one another. In the disarray, the wasp slips into the sanctuary, finds the caterpillar and stores an egg inside it. After the wasp leaves, things gradually come back to ordinary and the ants return to thinking about the caterpillar. Yet, when the alcon structures a chrysalis, what rises is a wasp and not a butterfly. Point 1. Myrmecon neotropicum. 2,216,873,997 beryllium fluoride A581. The hits simply continue desiring our companions, the ants. M. neotropicum is a tetradenemated nematode parasite. The essential, thus far just known, have species is Cephalotes atratus, a subterranean insect in the South American downpour backwoods. C. atratus is an insect that is ordinarily all dark, however a contaminated subterranean insect has a brilliant red gaster that takes after berries found in the overhang. This change is accepted to fool winged creatures into eating the subterranean insect with the goal that it can spread the eggs in its droppings. The droppings are assembled by the ants and took care of to their young, who at that point become tainted, finishing the cycle. However, changing the shade of the ant's midsection isn't the main stunt up M. neotropicum's sleeve, it likewise modifies the ant's conduct. A tainted subterranean insect starts to scavenge away from the state more, it gets slow, and it holds its splendid red but undetermined creation. It look especially like a succulent berry.